Hi, and welcome to the Women of Sumo panel. I'm Stacy Kornlupke. I'm the Director of Education here at Sumo Logic, and I run the certifications program. With me is...
Hi, everyone. My name is Abby Pagliaro. I'm the Information Security Director at MassMutual, and I lead both the security platforms and endpoint security teams.
And I'm Libby Christensen. I'm a Principal Program Manager here at Sumo.
I'm Michelle Gruner. I'm a Senior Manager of Cybersecurity over the Architecture and Engineering team at SailPoint.
I'm Nikki Salarius, a Senior Security Engineer at Upstart, and I focus on security operations.
Great. To break the ice, we want to start with one of the questions that Stephen Colbert frequently asks in interviews, and that's mostly so that we can get together, understand from a common issue what we're facing. Is a 78-degree thermostat heaven, or is it hell?
It's too hot. Way too hot for me.
Nope, it's wonderful for me.
Hold it, that's because you're coming from Arizona.
I'm coming from Arizona, so 78 is nice and cool.
Yeah, I definitely way cooler. Yeah, not 78, no.
And you're based in Seattle, so
I'm based in Seattle.
It's kind of a regional difference. All right.
68.
All right. One more question, which is, what is one thing you really must throw out? We live in an age of Marie Kondo, so surely this is topmost on your mind. What's one thing you should really get rid of?
For me, it's socks that don't have a match.
I have a binder full of old mixed CDs that I made in college still that I don't even have a CD player for.
Probably don't need my Star Wars Collector's VHS tapes anymore.
No,
But
you still
don't
do.
you?
You still do.
I think you do. I mean, you never know. VHS might come back. Just look at LPs.
It is the uncut version.
Ooh. And it's
Collectors, yeah.
yeah, it's important to see Han shoot first. I agree.
Yep.
All right. Getting into more serious questions, we often hear that someone was an inspiration in our early lives. Is there someone who inspired you to go into this field, and kind of how did they do that?
So not necessarily someone that inspired me to get into this particular field, but both of my parents were my inspiration growing up. I've watched them work really hard throughout their lives, to achieve all that they have in their careers and in their lives. And that really inspired me to start working at a young age and to work very hard for all of the things that I wanted in my life and my career.
Very cool.
For
Michelle?
me, it was my grandma. So she had my dad very, very young, and she didn't have a high school degree, and she still worked hard, got a job at a bank, raised 2 sons, had a house, and just her will and determination made me realize that no matter what I could do, like her, if I put my mind to it, then I could achieve what I wanted.
It's amazing.
So I'm from a small town in Minnesota, actually from a hog farm, and my entire family is all in tech. So it's kind of, my mom is my inspiration because my mom still is actually still a developer today.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah,
Yeah. What kind of developer?
she's gonna get really mad. I can't remember what language she's in.
You told everyone I was a COBOL programmer, and you didn't know.
No, she was not COBOL. She's not COBOL. I want to say it's probably C or Java.
Awesome.
But yeah. So yeah, my mom's a developer. Pretty cool.
That is awesome.
So we often are told by career counselors, by mentors, by many people that a career is not a linear journey. It's kind of a path that takes different turns, and it all depends on what inspires you. So do you have an aha moment where you were like, yes, this is what I want to do?
I had more of a confirmation moment. When I was in college, I got to go to nationals with the AITP group from our local college, and we took part in a programming competition in .NET and Visual Basic. And we were trying. I was thinking, hey, I think I know how to do this. We'll give it a shot. We'll see how we do. I don't think we'll place. And we actually ended up second in the nation, which was really confirmed, hey, I think I can actually do this for the rest of my life. I actually know what I'm talking about. It was nice to have that confirmation.
It's really awesome.
It was fun.
For me, it was more about having, when I became a leader, a formal leader, Then I had the program team and the budget, staffing, and one of my directors reached out to me and indicated that they needed somebody to be the manager for our cybersecurity team. And I didn't have a background in cybersecurity, but yet she just told me that I was the person that they needed to lead this team because the person who was in that place wasn't working out so well. And that she was confident that I could do it. She knew I could learn whatever I needed to do and be successful. And by her showing me that she believed in me, it gave me then that confidence. And at that moment, it was like, cybersecurity? I'd never considered before cybersecurity, but let's do this. And here I am today. So
Very cool.
Yeah. I think for me, it was being in one of those roles where you always had to go back and look at the manual to figure out what the next thing it was. You knew that that wasn't the right role for you. Being in finding program management, it just felt natural. I didn't have to go and look at a book to figure out what I had to do next. It just made sense. So that was my aha moment. No longer having to refer to a guide to how to do your job.
Similar to Michelle, I didn't go to school for cybersecurity. Many of my previous roles were not anywhere in technology. So I think my aha moment was when I actually landed the position that put me into a training program that put me into cyber. And I was kind of like, oh, what am I getting myself into? And just after, a few short months, although it was a steep learning curve, I just felt like this is what I really enjoy doing. This is what I've been missing in all of my previous roles. I haven't enjoyed, doing this type of work with these types of problems and people and, just so many great things that made me say, yeah, this is where I need to be.
So I have a Bay Area favorite, and that's the poet Shel Silverstein. And he once said that some kind of help is the kind of help that helping's all about. Some kind of help is the kind of help that we can all do without. What's some of the best advice and some of the worst advice that you guys have ever received for your careers?
Ooh, I'll go first. I got this. I was told very early in my career that I had to, if I wanted to be taken seriously in business, I had to straighten my hair. That my curly hair was unprofessional, and it was I was told by a female VP. So needless to say, for probably over 10 years of my career, anytime I had a big meeting, I would straighten my hair, even though it'd take forever. And as soon as I stepped outside, it went like this. But so proudly rocking the curls now, thanks COVID. I actually figured out how to do my hair properly. But that's.
I just find that so outrageous that was the advice that was given to you when that
it's all about appearance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was told to wear more makeup and talk less.
Ooh, to talk less?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially in technical meetings.
Oh, heck no.
Yeah, it didn't go over well.
So take it you didn't take that advice to heart.
No, I talked more and worked harder to prove my technical points.
I was told to act less happy in front of people. So if I was too happy, then I might not be taken seriously, or that I wouldn't be able to have the hard conversations with people or follow through with the difficult decisions that need to be made. Yeah.
For me, I think my best advice was, when you make a mistake, you learn, you let it go, and you move forward. My worst advice was probably when I moved to cybersecurity, and one of the first people that greeted me, just a peer, I guess, had said, "I hope you have a backup plan."
Oh no,
this is going to be tough. I hope you have a backup plan.
That's just
So, that was a little bit eye-opening, but also really motivating at the same time.
Definitely put that in the kind of help we can all do without bucket.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm kind of a Hulu addict, and so I've seen a lot of things on Hulu, and I actually like Mrs. America, which is a story of Phyllis Schlafly, and it's very unusual to see a woman in a role arguing against feminism, but you still feel for her. And one of the biggest struggles she has is coming very prepared to a meeting with other leaders. She's got her notes, she's ready to go, she's an expert in her field. and they ask her to take notes. And it's that moment in a meeting when you are ready to lead or you're ready to be an expert that you start to struggle with perhaps other expectations people have of you. How do you handle meetings? How do you measure those cultural expectations?
So I
think we've all been in that case where it's like, well, you've got the notes, right?
Right.
And you're like, why would I have the notes? This is your meeting.
Yeah. Or at the end of the meeting, they had assumed you took notes, and then they say, "Oh, well, do you mind sending the notes out?" When that was never the expectation.
I love to follow up and say, "What notes?"
Yeah. Oh, didn't you?
Yeah.
It was your meeting.
I took my action items. I don't know about you. But yeah.
In a meeting, though, normally what the role that I try to play is more asking the questions that maybe the team doesn't think about, not setting the expectation that I'm the only person in the meeting that can take the notes, but really helping drive the conversations in a way where they're talking about ideas and people can feel like it's a trusted environment where I know we say there are no bad questions, right? But really, people can ask questions and not feel like they're going to be shamed because they either didn't know something or might have a different perspective than somebody else. So it's really just trying to bring all of those ideas out and help just navigate the meeting rather than be the person who has all the answers.
I know a lot of workplaces are working on diversity and inclusion. They're trying to change their culture, but we all still kind of bring our own cultures with us from school, from home, from other workplaces. What are some of the cultural assumptions that you've run into about you, and how have you used your own brand to kind of convince people that that's just not applicable to you?
This one's going to come off a little weird, but so I'm Hispanic. I don't look it, and most of the comments kind of come from that. They'll make a lot of, lasagna jokes or like casseroles from the Midwest. And I'm like, no, but like I'll make empanadas and bring them in for you. Like I'm happy to share some other food, just not a casserole.
If you need a tater tot hot dish recipe, I got a great.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I love those, but like that's not my at home, like what I would love to eat food. So it's always interesting to see kind of like the reverse side of it, I guess, where I have to prove myself and then I have to kind of prove that diversity can be interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah.
We learn most when we're met with challenges. What is the next challenge for you guys in your career? What are you thinking of taking on? How are you going to tackle that?
Okay, so this is a good one. So I'm in my career, like good midway in my career. I need to figure out if I want to be an individual contributor or if I actually want to be a manager. I don't know if I want to be a manager of people. I'm a little bit of a control freak when it comes to that kind of stuff, hence the program manager side in me. But I don't know if I want to necessarily be a manager of people. I want to mentor people, but I don't know if I want to be a manager. So I think that's where I'm at that crossroads of not everyone was born to be a manager, and not everyone should be a manager. I think we've all been there for a few of those people. Mm-hmm. So that's
a very different skill set, right?
Mm-hmm.
You build your technical expertise, and you own your area, and then you're asked to pass all that knowledge on to a Padawan.
Yep, and the trusting that it's going to get done in a different way than what you probably would have done it.
I think there's also a bit of a assumption that you can only be a leader if you're a manager.
That's a good point, yeah.
And no, you can be a leader as an individual contributor.
Absolutely.
And I wish that a lot of companies focused on that and grew a lot of their ICs more in that direction where you can really lead in your space, but you don't have to have those people and management skills to do that.
Yeah.
And actually, as a manager, I would appreciate that having those individual contributors, and I do have some that rise to the occasion and are leaders for the other people on our team, because then I can work with them as a partner. And that partnership is extremely valuable. So, I'm with you in that space.
Do you feel that there's a clear path to lead and principal in these technical fields, or is it something that you as a manager have to create?
Speaking as a senior engineer who's on the path to that, no, I feel like there is a really, strong path in that direction where you are making the next steps in the company. And you're kind of saying, hey, this is where we should be heading towards. This is kind of the next technological path that we need to be aware of and focusing on. And I think if you have that drive and you kind of push in that direction, it kind of comes naturally to say, like, I am leading in this space. I am pushing for it because I believe in it.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Abby?
I think I'm fortunate, like Michelle, to have some of those natural leaders on both of my teams, and I'm very thankful for them. And I do think at Mass Mutual, we do a really great job of kind of making that path for the folks that do want to be in the leader position and finding opportunities for them, as well as the people who want to be with those leaders outside of their manager leaders. So there's lots of opportunities and lots of unique opportunities that we find for folks there.
Very cool. Well, time travel isn't possible, and looking at electric cars, we may not be able to afford it when it is, but if you could go back 10 years in time, what would you tell yourself?
I always say that I would go back and tell myself to not doubt myself, maybe take the leap sooner, try something different sooner instead of being comfortable with where you're at.
I would probably tell myself not to sweat the small stuff. Don't focus on the little things as much, and also make sure that work takes its place, and make sure that my family takes its place first always, because it's very easy to go down the path where you're working towards a goal and you're trying to do even more to prove, right? Kind of to Abby's point, to prove you're capable. And so just making sure that my family doesn't take the back seat.
I think for me, it would be not everyone, you don't have to have the answer. You just that was a skill that I had to learn, that I didn't have to have that answer right in that meeting at that time. But the answer of, I might not know the right answer, but I can get you the person that will, right? Like just knowing that I can use my network for that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was something I wish I would have known way back when.
It's hard to get comfortable with too.
Oh, completely.
I mean, as a follow-on to that, how do you build your network? What was kind of some of the first steps you took to kind of finding the people with the answers?
Ooh, so I started Sumo probably about 1.5 years ago, and I had come from a company that I had been at for 10 years. And so I knew everybody in the entire company. So I was like that person that knew all those connections. To start at Sumo and try to be that person was terrifying. But Sumo did a really great thing where that first 2 months, I interviewed over 40 people or set up coffee chats virtually with like over 40 people in different departments. Just be like, hey, so what do you do here at Sumo? What do you what's going on? How can I help you? Is there a struggle with the team that I'm working with that I can help you with, or what's going on? So I just sit down and do that. And by the end of it, next thing you know, I'm slowly starting to be able to, Stacy knows this because she's been playing in my meetings. I'm like, let me get you the right person for that one.
And you've got it all in your head. I love it.
Oh, I do. I've got the whole org chart in there right now.
I could speak to the one outside of work. Finding resource groups and things that you believe in that you want to push forward. I try to be engaged a lot in women in tech in the college sphere and kind of pushing towards that, because when I was in college, it was a very small percentage of women who were doing tech, and I really wanted to make sure it was there. It's been great to have some of those girls follow up with me online, and I'm like, you did it, you're in tech, and you're just slowly building that network of people that you've grown with or helped grow, and that's normally what I fall back onto.
And when you see them succeed, then it's it's the best feeling because you were with them before they even knew they were going to be as great as they are. Yeah.
I've done mentoring for a few of the women that were in computer science classes at the UW in Washington, and seeing them actually graduate and get their jobs after there. Because there's that time in those careers where you're like, I don't know how to do this. I think I should probably just drop out. Like all the guys in the room seem to know the answer. Maybe I don't belong here. And you can just start out. But realizing that you don't know how to have the answer. They probably don't have the answer, but they are just fronting it and making it look like they have the answer. I think once I made that realization, I'm like, no. Just because you're not good at operating systems doesn't mean you're not a good UI developer, or like there's still other jobs in tech. Don't leave just because of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Abby?
Yeah, I think everything that I would have said is probably covered.
All right. Diversity, equality, inclusion, and belonging is a big topic right now in all companies as tech starts to take a deep soul search into how things are going and what they could do differently. Do you guys belong to any ERGs? And if so, kind of what ERGs do you belong to?
I mean, I kind of already spoke on one. So yeah, like I said, I'm Hispanic, so I stay in that sphere a lot. I think, especially in tech, it's very underrepresented with women in the tech sphere, so I try to push there as much as I can.
Yeah. I am a huge advocate of women in technology, and in my former company, then I was able to be the lead after many years of really coming up in the ERG space. So definitely a huge advocate for that. And at SailPoint, we're really growing in that space. We've got ladies of cyber that our CISO is actually a woman. And so it is amazing to see a woman CISO represented.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's incredible. And so she is a huge advocate as well of growing the women in our cyberspace.
So I'm a member of the ERG here at Sumo. We actually it's not even just a women's group, it's Fierce. It's an ERG for Fierce.
Nice.
I love it. I love it. I just love the name. But I actually went through and with all the work that I've done for women in tech in the past, I was actually just nominated and I won an award for my university for the work I've done for women in tech.
That's awesome.
So I will be getting the President's Award from the University of Wisconsin. So
Congrats.
thanks.
That's awesome.
So yeah. Yay.
So for me at Mass Mutual, I think it's just a lot of mentoring, opening myself up for mentoring for women in cyber and technology overall. Like Michelle said, it's really exciting. In cybersecurity right now, almost the entire, all but one of the senior leadership team is women. So it's really a fantastic, empowering, motivating time. It's not. I don't think it's very common to see that. Our CISO is also a woman, and she's incredible and just very, very inspirational.
Ours is actually also a woman, and I think that kind of points at a trend where you're seeing strong women in women-led organizations.
Yeah.
So it's really exciting to see that.
Do you feel that that's something changing within the security landscape?
Oh, absolutely. This is the first team I've worked on where more than half the team has been women, and it's been awesome to see that change and grow from my previous companies.
Well, I mean, if you just notice the people who are on this panel, the three of them are all in security, which is pretty badass.
I think so. All right. Last of the backup questions. What do you guys do when you hang up your capes, you go home? What do you do personally for yourselves?
Mine's gonna be real nerdy. I have a very large home lab. I've got a full server rack in my basement that I spend quite a bit of time tinkering with and doing home automation. So I kind of stay in that sphere, but I really enjoy it.
That's very cool. I
am a hockey mom. So right now, until my son graduates at the end of, this school year, I'm supporting him and his hockey journey. And, it sounds small, but it's a big
How much drive time is that, really?
It's fly time.
It's fly.
Oh.
Remember, she's in
I'm
Arizona.
in Arizona.
For hockey.
Yes. Yeah. So we fly everywhere. But outside of that, really, I enjoy spending time with my daughter as well. And she's gotten me back into reading, where I kind of got away from taking time for myself and just reading books for enjoyment. So, yeah.
So I bought a house pre-COVID, right before COVID, but I've been doing DIY. So whether it is tearing out my backsplash, putting something new in, So between DIY and then gardening. So usually my hands are in the dirt anytime in the summer.
And I'm very impressed with the Dahlia photos that I see over
Trust
Slack.
me. I got more for you. I got more.
Yeah, we're not talking a small hobby. She's got a field.
Oh yeah, no, people refer to my backyard looks like a bed and breakfast.
Oh
like
my
one of
gosh.
those gardens. I gotta show you.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
Send some pictures. For me, I'm a mom of two. They're very active, lots of activities. So when I come home, it's usually, cooking a quick dinner and into the car into one of the very many activities that we do. But when we do get downtime, it's just spending time together, spending time with the dog, finding whatever fun we can around town or on an adventure. Who knows?
You can't just casually throw out a dog. We got to know, what kind of dog do you have?
I have a golden retriever.
Aww.
She's 5. Her name's Piper. She's very cute.
Hold it. So speaking of animals, any other pets on the board?
I have 4 dogs.
I have 2 dogs.
Hold it. 4 dogs?
Yeah. I have 3 Bernedoodles. Yeah.
Oh.
They're very fluffy, but
Yes.
they love to cover themselves in mud.
Energy.
A lot. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
So much energy.
That's amazing. All right. Thank you, ladies, very much for your insights and just for sharing with the larger community. It's really appreciated.
Thanks for inviting us.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Yes, this is great.
Thank you so much for this opportunity.